We start with development story. The Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has cut power supply to the Tema oil refinery today. Now, this was due to debt running into 27 million cedis. According to the task force, it will only restore supply when the state refinery settles at least 30% of the debt. My colleague Kwame Yanka is currently at the refinery and joins us live for updates. Kwame, what can you report regarding the atmosphere as we speak? Is work still ongoing? I'm afraid we're trying to connect with Kwame Yanka for, much more updates on this development story where the Electricity Company of Ghana has, cut power supply to the state-owned Tema oil refinery regarding matters of debt, having to owe in excess of 27 million cedis in debt to ECG. We shall follow that story shortly as we try and raise Kwame Yanka on the line. But speaking of the upstream sector, Ghana's deregulation policy on the pricing of petroleum products seems to be on the balance. At least this is the argument by some experts who make the case that the recent directive by government to the country's leading oil marketing company, GOIL, to reduce fuel prices by 15% pesos actually per litre to meet demands by commercial drivers who embarked on a strike lately, questioned whether or not the deregulation policy has outlived its relevance. Petroleum expert Dr. Yusuf Sulemana spoke earlier on the marketplace.
Deregulation is on a shaky ground, and it's on a shaky ground because, it's almost the fact that we are seeing that, the policy is not able to stamp its authority when the market needs it most. And this is the time that we thought, deregulation should be able to work. Looking at deregulation as a whole, as a policy and its intended purposes, I think it was achieved and achieved well. But what happened just after this windfall, especially after 2014, 15, and 2016, actually the oil price actually collapsed. Collapse. And so what we're expecting is that there would have been some cascading impact at the pumps, but that never happened. After the benefits that the consumer benefited within those periods, taxes quickly came to play. The government of Ghana actually came out with so many taxes at that time. And one of the lead taxes that you can remember then was special petroleum tax. Exactly. That's SPT. This was supposed to actually be temporary, just to cool down the market because the downstream side were being impacted. So the expectation was that they wanted to use the downstream to support the upstream. I'm
quite curious to find out, Dr. Sulemana. Others might ask that if government could have given this directive, why not in instances when fuel prices were reduced on the global market?
Yes, so that's the the question that most pundits will ask, and that's actually the major problem because the assumption is that deregulation works in one direction, Charles. That's the assumption, though it's not supposed to be so. And why I was saying that, if you look back, the last market collapse that we have in the world market, somewhere in March 2020, actual crude oil prices in the global market actually crashed to, with Brent was at, let's say, a little bit below 20. That is where our pumps are benchmarked. And even WTI went to negative 37 as at that time. That was phenomenal and that was monumental. But I think we didn't see that kind of cascading impact at the pumps. If you remember that time, we never saw pump prices dropping below 4 cedis per liter.
Exactly.
That is so for you. So that is what is supposed to be done.
Now, Ghana has identified products and services of up to about 5,600 that have been liberalized to trade under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The goods which have been slapped with special tariff regimes for the purposes of agreement are to be accepted by all member countries when trading begins fully. The Senior Technical Advisor at the National Coordinating Office, Dr. Farid Arthur, discloses after engaging some chief executives of various companies in the country. We have more on this in this report.
The meeting with the private sector chief executives provided a platform for many businesses to seek further clarification on the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement and the role by the Ghana Coordination Office in ensuring a successful implementation of the deal. After a careful deliberation with customs officials and stakeholders, Ghana has listed almost 6,000 goods and services with harmonized codes that are qualified to trade under the agreement. Senior Technical Advisor at the National Coordination Office, Dr. Farid Arthur, explains.
Not just for Ghana, but for all the other countries. In the case of Ghana, so far, I think the goods that we have liberalized comes up to about 5,600. So all these goods, they are there, and if anybody is interested, can go into the portal and identify the specific goods. They have special HS codes which the traders use to identify the goods that they have.
So what does this mean to the trader, those who want to trade?
What it means is that those goods can be traded at preferential rates starting from this year.
Dr. Arthur also hinted that apart from Kasapreko Company Limited, local producers of beverages in the country, and Gandor Cosmetics, no other Ghanaian company has been able to begin trading yet.
Most of the other countries are not ready. But from the Ghanaian side, we are ready. We have named our competent authority, which is Customs. We have designated a role for Ghana Chamber of Commerce, where the ministry has a task force that is ready to move. Our program, our intention is to line up Ghanaian businesses and make them ready when all the other countries eventually come on board. So it is not now, this is more like a preparatory season, getting prepared for the main match itself. So that is what we've been doing. In that regard, we have so far identified over 100 companies that we are working with, and some of those companies are the companies that we met with here now. Gando and Kasapreko, these are traditional markets for them, so they are already trading in these markets even before we came on board. That January trade in particular was just to signify the start of trading. Yes, so I'm sure they are still trading, but we need to follow up with them to see what is happening.
So we are right to say no that other company has joined them yet?
No, not as yet, yes.
Ghana is, however, ahead of other member countries in the implementation of the deal.
Well, we'll now get back to our top story, where the Electricity Company of Ghana has cut power to the Tema Oil Refinery today. Now, this was due to debt running into 27 million cedis. According to the task force, it will only restore supply when the state refinery settles at least 30% of the debt. My colleague Kwame Yanka is currently at the refinery and joins us live. Kwame, what can you report from where you are?
Okay, at the moment, I understand power has been restored because TOR and then ECG are both more or less state enterprises, if I should say. As a result, management has been able to sort this out, and then I understand it power came back on around 4:30 thereabouts. But it's unclear how it's going to affect production for the rest of the day. Workers actually moving out their shifts. They are moving out, but like I said earlier, it's unclear how this is going to affect production into the night and then probably tomorrow. But the issue about disconnection at Tema Oil Refinery, this is certainly not the first time. Somewhere in 2011, July I should say, there was a similar exercise where the company was owing to the tune of about 1 million cedis. But that also struck among management in the two companies, and then power was restored. But then when that happened, it actually affected production. So we don't know how the company is going to more or less work around issues about debt and then production going forward.
Indeed. So, Kwame, you could confirm for us that indeed power has been restored to TOR?
Yes, patients are tight-lipped. At the end, we are trying to get through to what exactly could be done to avert future occurrence of this research. Because so it's like an important state company, yes, such an important company to the state. So issues about power and then debt and all that must be managed in such a way that production in future is not affected. So we are still putting our ears to the ground and then engaging those who really matter to get to the bottom of this.
Kwame, we're grateful that you could grant us this update regarding the Tema Oil Refinery. What we are learning currently is that power has been restored to the Tema Oil Refinery after the ECG disconnected power in excess of 27 million cedis in debt owed the electricity company. You're still watching Business Live. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back. Just stay with us. And those were slides of our international business news. Well, managers of some rural and community banks are observing that shareholders are shying away from buying more shares because dividends have not been paid for more than 2 years. The rural and community banks have therefore begun mounting pressure on the central bank to reconsider its decision to prevent dividend payment. The chairperson of the JoyNews Rural Bank PLC, Phyllis Constance Putik, reiterated this during the 37th annual general meeting of the bank. Though the bank posted a 28% profit increase after the financial year, she is worried shareholders will not receive dividends once again. Prince Appiah has more in this report.
In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the bank managed to mobilize a total deposit of 45% increase. Loans and advances saw a 25% growth. Profits before tax also went up by 28.5% in that difficult year. Board Chair Phyllis Constance Putik has been explaining the performance to Love Business.
When you go into the community and you speak to them, they need not to keep their money homes when they stand at a high risk of losing it, but to come and keep it with us, where you can be sure that, for instance, if you are doing even fixed deposit, you are getting something small. You used to go to Dubai, amongst them, or Togo, whatever. COVID, you cannot go. Why keep the money and you can just spend it? So we did this community outreach. That really helped, letting them know the need for them to bank whatever they have. And when COVID is over, and when you are standing and putting your integrity online, people tend to believe what you are saying.
She spoke at the 37th annual general meeting of the JoyNews Rural Bank PLC, where dividend had not. Mrs. Constance Putik observes locked up funds of the RCBs in some of the defunct finance houses are the reason for the development.
If government does not come in, the belief and the faith that the communities have in the rural banking, it will die off and it will be a disaster. Because they feel that because the people are within the communities, you will not run away. I mean, for your children or for your husband's sake, you will not run away. You've given us your word. They've seen that it is working. And so a lot more are coming in terms of, deposits.
Acting Managing Director for ARB Apex Bank, Alex Iwa, wants the depositors to bear with the banks in these challenging times.
Our presence will be satisfactory to the people who have kept faith with us throughout all these hard times and still deposit their monies. And also, it is incumbent upon us to also ensure that our banks continue to be stronger so that we will continue to give them the services that they need. We understand the situation in the economy, but we will just urge everybody who does business with our banks to keep faith with us. And we also going forward will ensure that we play our part so that our financial system will continue to be stronger.
Meanwhile, investment by the bank grew by 76%, total assets by 32%, and shareholders' funds also grew by 70% as a result of the performance during the period. Prince Appiah reporting.
Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has promised to compensate the Ejisu pig farmers who lost their pigs to the African swine fever earlier this year. Deputy Finance Minister and MP for Ejisu, Dr. John Kuma, revealed that the cluster will also receive a facelift as part of the moves to enhance biosecurity of the farms. Prince Appiah has more in this report.
Almost 3,000 pigs were destroyed by the African swine fever in October this year. More than 50 farmers at the Ejisu cluster in the Shanti region lost their livelihoods as a result. At the Farmers' Day celebrations at Kwaso, Ejisu MP Dr. John Kuma announced compensation packages for the farmers. Dr. Kuma also donated 50,000 cedis to support the affected farmers.
I've seen it with my own eyes where they've lost all their investment. So I'm here to encourage them. And in the meantime, I followed up with the Ministry of Agriculture on processes to And so far it's at the ministry level. Very soon, I believe, their payment processes will be done for them so that they can be back on their feet. Then myself, as their member of parliament, I have given them a package of 50,000 Ghana cedis to encourage them to acquire new piglets so that they can start their pig farms again.
General Secretary of the Ajeso cluster of pig farmers, Georgia J, was excited about the gesture.
It's quite heartwarming. It's also add to what he has already expressed, being here physically and then offering in his personal capacity. As we speak, there's not a single pig or animal in any of this pen behind us here. What it means is that all these gentlemen and some of our mothers that are among us here are doing in terms of their source of livelihood has gone, and we are all at home. And then he has also promised that with respect to the visit of the Ministry of Agric and the assessment evaluation they've done, he's going to push hard and make sure from the central government we get something.
Ajeso MC Samuel Odro Frimpong also reviewed support systems for both affected farmers and youth interested in farming.
Agri director Maswanti said,
we want to improve agric production in Ajeso. We are therefore giving out thousands of seedlings to individuals who want to venture into farming. We also expect that the farmers would produce more, even for export.
Richard Siao, Enoch Chemanting, who won Best Pawpaw and Plantain Farmers, respectively, in the Ajeso municipality. Prince Apia reporting.
Now, about 100 women in the Upper West region are benefiting from the Unilever Women Empowerment Program known as Songta Project. Now, the project, which was initiated 3 years ago, was code-named Shakti Project, and of course, it is an Indian word which literally means help one another. At the launch of the project in the Upper West region, the project was given a local touch and rechristened as Songta Project based on positive testimonials from some of the beneficiary women on how the project has impacted their lives and that of their families, both socially and economically. Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Unilever Ghana PLC at the launch of its Women Empowerment Project 3 years ago, codenamed it as the Shakti Project. Shakti is an Indian word which literally means help one another. At the launch of the project in the Upper West region, the project was given a local touch and rechristened as Songta Project based on positive testimonials from some of the beneficiary women on how the project has impacted on their lives and that of their families, both socially and economically. Managing Director of Unilever Ghana PLC, George Owusansa, revealed that 100 women have been selected from within the one municipality and 3 other districts within the region. He noted that the initiative responds to a new Unilever Compass project of contributing to a fairer or more socially inclusive world.
Key Soap, a brand that has been in this country for generations, has taken upon itself to sponsor a brand that has benefited from patronage of many Ghanaian women, has taken it upon itself to give those women who have patronized Key a chance to do well in their lives. I want to encourage all of you women who are going to be on this program to stay focused and work with determination to achieve the objective of improving your lives, your well-being, that of your family and all loved ones. And if we do this for Ghana.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali thanked Unilever Ghana PLC for the initiative, urging them to increase the number of beneficiaries to cover more poor women in the region.
I urge our women who today have been offered this opportunity by Unilever Ghana PLC to make the best out of this offer. Their success will determine the sustenance of this initiative, and for that matter, its extension to other women in the region. I wish to therefore appeal to the Managing Director of Unilever Ghana PLC to increase the number of beneficiaries in the Upper West region. If in 2018 the beneficiaries were 100, and today it is still 100, I want next year the number to be increased to about 500.
Executive Director of Ponet North, Martin Derry, whose outfit is partnering Unilever Ghana PLC on the project, stated that they have done lots of engagements with the beneficiary committee members to remove all bottlenecks in the implementation.
We have engaged the men. You know, we the men usually are a key challenge when it comes to sustainable economic development. When our women begin any productive thing and money starts coming in, we try to interfere because we want to drink a lot more pito or even marry additional wives. We have done those engagements at the community level to ensure that this business approach is understood.
Each of the 100 beneficiaries were handed over assorted Unilever products to kickstart their businesses. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
And that'll be it for Business Live. I'm Charles Ayete. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.